do you feel vindicated to some extent? Or let me read a tweet from Bill Miller, Quattro IV, who said, "It's a great day for Bitcoin and self-custody. Shutting down the bucket shops will bolster confidence in the legitimate technology."
Well, let's hope so, right? Let's hope that shutting down bucket shops leads to, whatever crypto is supposed to do in real life. But I've spent the last 2 years investigating cryptocurrency, traveling around the world, going to El Salvador, the only country in the world that's trying to use crypto as money. It's not working. Interviewing people like Sam Bankman-Fried, going to the Miami Bitcoin conference where you interviewed me. They were talking about Bitcoin as an inflation hedge back then. I'm not sure how that worked out. So the story will keep evolving. But I think the question is really, what is the innovation here, right? Blockchain's not new. It's over 30 years old. It goes back to 1991. Stuart Haber and Scott Stornetta at Bell Labs, building off the work of cryptographers like David Chaum. So what's the innovation? Is the innovation separating retail traders from their money?
Let me ask this, which came out from the CoinDesk CEO himself, who said, if all of this is the case, why did the SEC let us register as a public company, knowing our business model?
Well, anyone's allowed to register, and Coinbase did file the right paperwork. Gary Gensler came in, I believe, a few days after Coinbase's IPO. So you can blame Gensler all you want, but he literally wasn't in charge then. That's an interesting question, and a question that I cover in the book. How did crypto metastasize to such a degree that some 40 million Americans bought it? I think there's one of the answers to that is that there is a gray area between commodities and securities regulation.
Right.
That, obviously manifests in the CFTC and the SEC, but also different committees with different jurisdiction. And basically the notion that what is a commodity versus what is a security. Mm-hmm. If something has a futures contract under the CEA, the Commodities Exchange Act of 1936, it can be classified as a commodity if it has not been classified as a security.
Right.
That's created a gray area.
Bitcoin, yeah.
In the case of Bitcoin, thank you. So it's an area that I think crypto has exploited.
Let's bring Emily into this conversation. And Emily, what do you think the typical retail holder of these crypto assets is likely to do in response to everything that's happened over the past 24 hours?
Well, all I can say is that if you look at the prices right now, I was just looking at CoinDesk's price page, it's remarkably green considering what's just happened. I mean, the SEC has just filed lawsuits against A, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, and B, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in America by a long shot. And you have crypto prices, by the standards of crypto volatility, are relatively static. I mean, you're not seeing major changes, again, by the standards of crypto, as we know, which is quite a roller coaster. So in that sense, I would agree with what you just reported. This is actually kind of bullish for crypto. I mean, if this isn't going to take crypto down, I'm not sure what will. So, yeah, I think if you're looking at crypto prices itself, and specifically Bitcoin, I think this is, for Bitcoin maximalists, this is kind of like a proof of concept, because Bitcoin appears to be one of, if not the only token that is decentralized enough to not be considered a security, at least in the United States. So Bitcoin is not reacting that much to this news, at least, if you look over the past 24 hours.
Do you think that institutional investors will, so how are they supposed to engage with these platforms, or is it fine to engage with these platforms, or are these platforms ultimately going to be moved overseas, and what would the impact then be?
Well, right. So there's two separate issues here. Binance, as we know, is already overseas. So I think it's an open question how much this will impact Binance over the long run. Binance is very active all over the world. So I'm not sure how critical the U.S. market is to its survival. Binance has been saying all along that it doesn't have U.S. investors. Obviously, the SEC argues with that. Coinbase, also has been threatening to move overseas. But again, crypto is not primarily a U.S. phenomenon. I think the price action really indicates this, that, there's crypto investment, there's crypto trade happening all over the world. So worst case scenario, and these companies really can't make it in the U.S., it's definitely not the end of the crypto story. In fact, far from it. I mean, we're seeing, as you just reported, Europe is becoming an increasingly important player in crypto, in Asia, which has been an important player for a while. And now you have Hong Kong welcoming crypto. So the story is far from over, regardless of what happens to these two platforms.
Ben, I'll give you the last word.
It's not an honest market. I don't know how else to say it.
What's not honest about it? Like if I'm the retail trader who says I like the Bitcoin white paper and I like the community and I want to hold it,
Great. As long as you're willing to put real money into something that calls itself a currency that is not a currency by any reasonable economic definition.
It's gold. It's like digital gold, kind of.
It's an investment, right? They want to market it as digital gold. That's fine. As long as you're willing to separate from your real money in the hopes that you can make something out of this investment, go for it. I would just caution you, and I would encourage you to read my book or listen to my book. I'm doing the audio book. I just came from that, so you can listen to it for the bros out there that don't want to read. I don't know, take a gander. I spent 2 years looking at this. I interviewed Sam before he was arrested. We talk about Binance. Jacob and I wrote an article about Binance in the Washington Post last year. There's a heck of a lot of fraud. So let's see how much fraud there is and then see where that leads us.